and thanks for joining us. This is the Signature TV News Updates. I am Ifunanya Ilodianya, and the headlines. ASU says government should fund education, not parents. Senate orders custom to return rice seized in Ibadan markets. Former President Jonathan celebrates late President Yar'dua 11 years after. And now, the details. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Kaduna State Chapter, and Kaduna State University students on Thursday rejected the proposed tuition increments by the Kaduna State government. ASU maintained that over 75% of the students would drop out from the school for not being able to afford the proposed increase in tuition fee. The union also stated that it is the constitution for government to finance the education of the citizens and not the parents of the students. SignatureTV correspondent Chibueze Obi, who has been following the controversy generated by the fee increments, now reports.
Associate Professor of Civil Engineering, Delta State University, Dr. Hilary Onwama argued that 26,000 naira being paid by the students to acquire higher education is not commensurate. He maintained that government will have to carry the financial burden of the university at the expense of other capital projects, which he said will benefit all and sundry. Onwama further stated that over 500% increase from 26,000 naira to 150,000 is justified to acquire higher education.
Fees of 26,000 naira. These kind of fees, are they tenable for university education? Are they really tenable? We must tell ourselves the truth with what you pay as fees. That's why you cannot compare somebody from Harvard with somebody from one community university in Nigeria, because you get the value of what you give in. We know poverty is ravaging us. However, there's no good private secondary school or primary school that is paying 26,000 naira today in this country. No one at all. Where will the extra money come from to cushion all of this? Because when they tell you education has never been free all over the world. So when they tell you education is free, somebody is paying for it. Government is paying for it. There is nothing that is free in this world apart from the air we breathe. And they are taking money meant for other things to pay for your education, many meant for housing. That means as you are having free education, somebody is sleeping in the street because houses can no longer be built for the poor. As you're having education free, somebody is traveling on a bad road and having accidents. As you're having education free, somebody cannot go to a good hospital because nothing is free. And the resources are scarce and limited. I want to establish that the 150,000 naira is not on the high side, first and foremost, with all due respect.
The Acting Policy Advisor, Civil Society Action Coalition on Education, Dr. Nathaniel Adamu said it is obvious that so many students of the institution cannot afford such increment and therefore will lead to massive dropout, which he said will worsen security challenges in the country. He was of opinion that government should look for other ways to source funds for education other than from school fees increase.
It is obvious that actually a lot of them will not be able to meet up. And that now boils down to what will be their level of education, what will come of them after this. Like somebody who may be in 200 level or 300 level, and because he cannot afford to pay school fees, he may be a dropout. And you know the implication of that in our society today, that you have high rate of unemployment, high rate of insecurity. All these things boils down to these kind of actions taken. But it shouldn't be. There are areas where they can raise funds. There are areas where they can curtail expenses when it comes to governance. Look at political appointees. How much are they earning? Look at their convoys. Look at their welfare package.
Speaking further on alleviating the burden of tuition fees from students who cannot afford the increment, Dr. Hilary Onwama suggested that Kaduna State government should initiate a robust scholarship scheme for intelligent students who come from poor backgrounds. But Adamu stated that even if the government has to increase the tuition fee, it has to be reasonable and should negotiate with stakeholders before effecting any increment.
So there should be a robust scholarship scheme, devoid of corruption, okay, devoid of federal character, okay, devoid of who you know, in scholarship that can take care of these indigent students from the poor. And remember that the children of the rich must be excluded completely from the scholarship scheme. Once your father is on level 12 and above, you have to be excluded. there should be a way of paying it for them, no problem. But those ones should be seen through the university education in the form of scholarship. The intelligent children of the poor, not the intelligent children of the rich or the poor children of the rich.
Well, my advice to the government is that even if there's going to be increment, the increment should not be as much as people cannot afford. Of course, it has to be gradually. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any increment, but the increment should be reasonable to the extent that those who are still in school can afford to finish. But where you are talking, because the instances you gave me that somebody who is paying 26,000 is now asked to be paid to pay 150. I mean, it's outrageous. Government too with the workload and whatever, but at least let it be a gradual process, and there should be negotiation with the student union government before this implementation.
Kaduna State government says lack of resources led to disengagement of workers in the state. In Abuja, Chibueze Obi for Signature TV.
The Senate Committee on Ethics and Privilege has directed the Nigeria Customs Service to return the bags of rice and money which its officials allegedly seized recently from some shops in Ojoba and Bodija International Market in Ibadan, or your state capital. Officials of the Nigerian Customs Service has last week stormed Ojoba markets and carted away 8 truckloads of rice and money found in the shops of affected traders. The operation came barely a month after they raided the Bodija International Market, where they also carted away numerous bags of rice. The development forced the senators Teslim Fulari of Oyo State Central Senatorial District and Kola Balogun of Oyo South Senatorial District to protest the nocturnal operations of the Nigeria Customs Service. The President of the Senate, Dr. Ahmed Lawan, referred the petition to the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privilege and Public Petitions to investigate the allegation of the invasion of the looting against the Nigeria Customs Services. The Senate Committee, at the sitting on Tuesday, condemned the acts and described it as totally unacceptable. The panel then asked the Comptroller General of Customs, Hamid Ali, represented by his Assistant Comptroller General, Garuba Mohammed, to ensure that the seized goods were returned to the affected traders within 2 weeks. It also directed that the shops should be unlocked, while money taken from the shops must be equally returned. Former President Goodluck Jonathan described the late President Yar'dua, who died 11 years ago in office, as a man who had the vision of a peaceful and united Nigeria. Speaking at the 11th anniversary of Yar'adua's death on Wednesday, Jonathan said he shared a common vision of a peaceful, united and just nation with the late president. According to him, the President Yar'adua kept faith in this vision, channeling his strength and time in the pursuit of a democratic society until his last breath. Jonathan said Musa Yar'adua would always be remembered as a peacemaker, nation builder, and a democrat whose timeline was defined by virtues of service, peace, truth, and love. The Independent Electoral Commission has created an additional 1,235 polling units in Imo State to expand access to voters, which brings polling units in the state to a total of 4,758. The Resident Electoral Commissioner, Francis Ezono, in Owerri on Wednesday, said the polling units were created with a threshold of 500 to 750 registered voters in each polling unit. Under the new arrangements, Owerri municipality has 122 new polling units, followed by Owerri West with 117 polling units. Owerri North and Ikeduru local government areas came third and fourth with 91 and 80 polling units respectively, while Abombise has 79 new polling units. Existing laws allows the electoral register to convert existing voting polling settlements to full-fledged voting units and relocate new or existing ones to places other voters and unserved areas where necessary. The REC, Ezono, reiterated that under no conditions were polling units located in private compounds, royal places, residence of government officials, political party buildings, worship centers, or anywhere that could deny voters access and dispute buildings or facilities. The FCC Police Command has arrested 5 suspects for car snatching and armed robbery along the Gwagwalada and Wuye axis of Abuja. In a statement by the command spokesperson, Yusuf Mariam, police operatives from Wuye Division arrested one Abdullahi Haruna, 25 years, and members of a 4-man robbery gang terrorizing Wuye axis. The suspects stated that they were responsible for snatching phones, bags, and other accessories along the stadium area. Exhibits recovered from the suspects are red-colored golf car, 4 mobile phones, 2 sharp knives, 3 reflective jackets. The police public relations officer, Yusuf Mariam, noted that the efforts is in place to arrest other suspects. The suspects will be arraigned in courts upon conclusion of the investigation, she added. Sporadic gunshots were reported earlier on Tuesday and a home burnt in Umueke Nta, in Isialambano local government area of Imo State, after security operatives stormed the community. Their entry is believed to be in search of a leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, identified as 50-year-old Fedus Ekechukwu, aka Moputu. Ekechukwu, whose wife is said to be a police officer, was seen around the community till the evening before the incident. A witness said the security personnel drove into the community in 7 vehicles, including an armored car. The eyewitness said the security operatives wore jackets with police boldly written on their backs. Also, their vehicles labeled FBI-R. The sources further explained that the security team arrived at the community around 1 a.m. and laid siege around Moputu's house in an attempt to arrest him. But after long waiting and search for him in his house, when they couldn't find him, the officers set the family house on fire in the presence of family members. However, police public relations officer Orlando Ikoku said he was yet to be informed about the incidents. Operatives of the Ilorin Zonal Office of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested 30 suspected internet fraudsters, also known as Yahoo Boys, in Ilorin. The commission said the arrest of the suspects, who were mostly students picked from different locations within Ilorin, followed actionable intelligence received on their criminal activities. Some of the items recovered from them included 10 exotic cars, mobile phones, laptops, charms, and other incriminating documents. The EFCC said they will be arraigned in courts as soon as investigations are concluded. The zonal head of the Ilorin office of EFCC, Usman Mukhtar, who spoke through the head of public affairs departments of the zone, Babatunde Ayodele, urged students to imbibe the culture of excellence as future leaders of the country and to shun all forms of criminality. The EFCC boss decried the way students get involved in internet fraud and other forms of economic and financial crimes, while stressing the determination of the Commission to bring such criminals to book. The House of Representatives has called on the federal government to postpone the planned 2021 population and housing census by the National Populations Commission. The call came after the adoption of a motion of urgent national importance moved by Shehu Beji, member representing Boso and Paikoro Federal Constituency of Niger State, at the plenary on Wednesday. Presenting the motion, the lawmaker said several factors would hinder the exercise, which affected the accuracy of the figures that will be obtained. He added that the success of the overall exercise will be threatened largely due to the effects of insecurity on Nigerians living in many parts of the country who have either been displaced or their everyday lives disrupted. Beji noted that the safety of The enumerators could not be guaranteed in many parts of the countries affected by insecurity and other crises. Across the world, the labor movement on May 1st commemorated May Day, otherwise called Workers' Day. But in Nigeria, there appears to be nothing to celebrate apart from being alive. The theme for this year's celebration is Save Lives at Work. The Nigerian Labour Congress chairman, Ayuba Waba, had explained that choosing Save Lives at Work as the theme of this year's edition is significant, coming at the epoch of the global fight against COVID-19. Nigerian workers across the sectors of the economy lamented their fortunes and fears a gloomy future for the Nigerian workers, which they said calls for sober reflection. Here are some reactions as gathered by Signature TV correspondents.
The federal government have been favorable to workers. Yes, because if you watch for some years now, we've been battling with the implementation of minimum wage, which federal government have implemented, and workers are benefiting, you see. So I think what the government should do to encourage the workers is to equip them more.
Some of the workers, like civil servants, have not been paid for years. You understand? And it's uncalled for. As a country like this, Nigeria as a country like this should not entertain such. Do you understand? So I'm not really comfortable with the Nigerian government as a whole.
What government should do to encourage the Nigerian workers is to empower the Nigerian workers, especially the youth. The Nigerian government should do as much as possible to empower them.
Before we end the news, a recap of our major stories. Increase in school fees. ASU says government should fund education, not parents. Senate orders customs to return rice seized in Ibadan markets. Former President Jonathan celebrates President Yar'dua 11 years after. Please do well to stay safe, maintain physical and social distance, and wear your face mask while going about your daily activities. This is a Signature TV news update. On behalf of my producer, Nasser Usman, I am Ifunanya Ilodianya. Thank you for watching.